Story 1. The Haunted Halloween Carnival. Every year, the small town of Willowbrook hosted a Halloween carnival that drew visitors from miles away. The main attraction was the abandoned Ferris wheel, a relic of a bygone era. Its rusted frame loomed over the town, casting an ominous shadow. Despite the warnings of locals, tourists flocked to the carnival, eager to experience its haunted charm. As the sun set on Halloween night, the carnival came to life with twinkling lights and the sounds of laughter. Families and friends enjoyed the rides and games, oblivious to the chilling history of the Ferris wheel. Among the attendees was a group of adventurous teenagers, including Sarah, who scoffed at the stories of hauntings. With a sense of bravado, they decided to be the first to ride the decrepit Ferris wheel in years. As they ascended, the creaking and groaning of the wheel sent shivers down their spines. At the highest point, the ride abruptly stopped, leaving them suspended in midair. Panic set in as they realized they were trapped. The night grew darker, and a bone-chilling wind swept through the Ferris wheel's skeleton-like frame. Suddenly, the air was filled with ghostly whispers and eerie laughter. Shadows danced in the moonlight, taking on grotesque forms. In a shocking twist, the spirits of those who had perished in accidents at the carnival over the years appeared before them. Their ghastly faces contorted in agony, and their mournful cries filled the night. The teenagers were trapped with vengeful spirits who sought retribution for the accidents that had claimed their lives. Desperate to escape, the teenagers screamed for help, but their cries were drowned out by the malevolent laughter of the spirits. The carnival's haunted past had come back to claim new victims. As the night wore on, the Ferris wheel continued to creak and groan, a macabre ride into the afterlife for those who dared to ignore the warnings. The trapped souls of the teenagers became a part of the carnival's cursed history, their laughter and screams echoing through the night for years to come. The carnival, once a place of joy and celebration, had transformed into a nightmarish realm where the living and the dead converged on Halloween night. Despite the warnings, the allure of the haunted carnival continued to draw thrill seekers, each one unknowingly adding to the ranks of the spirits that haunted the Ferris wheel. Willowbrook's Halloween carnival had become a dark and sinister tradition, a chilling reminder of the consequences of tempting fate. Story 2. The Masked Mansion. In the heart of Ravenwood, an imposing mansion stood shrouded in mystery. It was known as the Masked Mansion, named for the countless ornate masks that adorned its walls. Legend had it that the mansion was cursed, and its enigmatic owner, Lady Evelyn, never left its confines. One fateful Halloween night, a group of curious teenagers decided to unravel the mystery of the Masked Mansion. Armed with flashlights and bravery, they entered the mansion, their footsteps echoing in the grand foyer. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the whispering wind outside. As they explored the mansion's labyrinthine corridors, they discovered that each mask had a story to tell. Portraits of past residents, frozen in time, adorned the walls. But the deeper they ventured, the more unsettling the mansion became. The walls seemed to watch them, and the masks whispered secrets that chilled their souls. In a sinister twist, the teenagers found a locked door hidden in the mansion's depths. Determined to uncover the truth, They forced it open, revealing a room filled with mirrors and masks. In the center stood Lady Evelyn, her eyes as dark as the abyss, and she wore a mask that bore an uncanny resemblance to each of them. Lady Evelyn explained that the mansion was a prison for her and the souls of those who had dared to enter. The masks were cursed, bound to the spirits of the mansion's ill-fated guests. With each new visitor, the curse grew stronger, and Lady Evelyn's powers expanded. The teenagers realized that they had become part of the mansion's macabre collection. In a final horrifying twist, Lady Evelyn offered them a choice. Become one with the mansion's cursed spirits or don masks and serve her for eternity. With heavy hearts, they chose the latter, becoming masked specters in the endless halls of the masked mansion. As the years passed, more curious souls entered the mansion, drawn by its mysterious allure. Lady Evelyn's power continued to grow, and the mansion's halls were filled with the anguished whispers of the cursed. The masked mansion had become a malevolent force, ensnaring the living and the dead alike, a haunting legacy that would persist for eternity. Story 3: The Voodoo Halloween. In the heart of New Orleans, Halloween was celebrated like no other place on Earth. The city's rich history of voodoo added a unique, mystical element to the festivities. It was on this night that Mia, a skeptical tourist, found herself drawn to a voodoo shop deep within the French Quarter. The shop was a treasure trove of mystical artifacts and curious curiosities. Mia's curiosity got the best of her as she picked up a voodoo doll, dismissing it as mere superstition. She purchased it, thinking it would make an interesting souvenir. That night, Mia attended a voodoo-themed Halloween party where she shared stories of her visit to the shop with newfound friends. As the evening wore on, they decided to put the voodoo doll to the test. Laughingly, they pinned it with needles and chanted playful incantations. In a shocking twist, the atmosphere changed. The room grew cold, and a sinister energy filled the air. The voodoo doll began to move on its own, its tiny limbs writhing in agony. Mia and her friends watched in horror as the doll's features contorted in pain, mirroring their own expressions. Desperation set in as they realized that they had unleashed forces beyond their comprehension. In a chilling climax, the voodoo doll's movements grew more violent. She and her friends felt an excruciating pain that paralyzed them. The doll's curse had taken hold, linking their fates to its torment. Mia's scream pierced the night as she became the vessel for the voodoo doll's dark magic. Her friends watched in helpless terror as she was consumed by the curse, her body twisting and contorting with each agonizing moment. The voodoo-themed Halloween party had turned into a nightmarish ritual of suffering. As the clock struck midnight, the curse was complete. Mia was gone, her body transformed into a lifeless, cursed doll. The voodoo shopkeeper had warned her about the power of the doll, but her skepticism had led to a horrific end. The voodoo doll, once a simple souvenir, had become a conduit for ancient and malevolent forces. It served as a chilling reminder that some mysteries should remain untouched, especially on a night when the veil between the living and the dead was at its thinnest.